Hey, nerds!
What's up, bitches?
Today's stream is going to be a little different. It's going to be a little bit a different type of style. We're not going to be playing a game today. We're not going to be watching any anime today. We're here to talk about it. We're here to talk about Danganronpa today. So yeah, as you can see, we have some wonderful custom art for this stream made by MKU. It pretty much solidified kind of how we were watching the show.
Oh yeah.
I was just kind of chilling and watching his reactions now and then, and he was just kind of chilling and watching him, just absorbing everything that was going on in the anime. Also, I should probably bring up our. I mean, we should be fine, right?
I mean, as long as I just keep, rolling, get this close to the mic, I'm pretty sure everyone can hear me.
Yeah. So, but yeah, so we're just gonna be talking about the anime as well as the games we've played thus far. So V3 is out of the question. We're not talking about V3. We can talk about every other game, which includes Danganronpa 1, Despair Girls, and number 2. Then we're gonna talk about the anime, Future, Despair, and Hope arcs. And we're also gonna briefly reference the book, Danganronpa Zero, as well as Killer Killer, which is a book that's very weird. Because this is a talking stream, the alerts are back on. So thanks very much thanks Lily Girl and thanks Ashtar for re-enlisting into the Fluffle Army. Appreciate you both. But yeah, so it's one of those things where I just want to make things very, very clear. We have very clear opinions on characters, on lore, on story, on details. Me and Brian have differing opinions as well as similar opinions. We expect everyone here to have different opinions too. We expect everyone here to have their own unique opinions on how things go. We're just going to talk about our experiences with it. Well, specifically Brian's experiences with it, and then mine kind of from my past hardcore DR fan life. Because I don't know about y'all, but I played Danganronpa when they came out. I played the Danganronpa series when they were released to America. It was one of those things where I am an old fan, and I've calmed down from my hardcore DR life. But Brian is new, so he's not necessarily. Would you say you're a fan, or you just kind of like casual enjoyment of the series?
Yeah, I'd say like just kind of casual enjoying what I've seen and played so far. Like again, the only game I haven't even played the first game. I've only just seen the anime adaptation of the first game. That's my only experience with the series.
Until now. Yeah, until we played it.
Because now that I've essentially played the first game, Ultra Despair Girls and 2, and now we've finally watched the anime. Yeah. So now I'm more or less, caught up until we get to V3.
Yeah. And we will be taking questions, but do know that we will only take questions if we have a break in between our talking points. In other words, we're not answering questions immediately as they come up. So please be aware that if we don't answer your question immediately, do not be mad at us. Don't get angry. Don't get frustrated. Don't spam it. Just know that we're in the middle of a talking point. Once you finish, if we see it, we're going to answer it. But nonetheless, for example, which Danganronpa character do you hate the most?
Nagito.
Brian absolutely fucking despises Nagito.
Again, it all started in Ultra Despair Girls when he fucking nerfed my gun, the son of a bitch.
I think for me, mine goes into spoiler territory for V3. I will say Nagito's high on the list of characters I hate.
I had a feeling that for you it would be someone in V3.
Yeah, it's someone in V3 who I hate. So we're not talking about V3, so we're not going to disclose the character.
And I'm pretty sure one of your favorite characters is also in V3, isn't it?
One of my favorite characters is indeed in V3. So yeah, so my favorite character and my non-favorite character, my most hated character, cannot be talked about because that's V3. The game had to make a level up system somehow.
But see, why give you the option to have all the fucking bullets in the gun in the very beginning only to just take it away? That's I mean, then again, this is coming from a guy who's played Metroid all of his life, so never mind.
Okay, so most hated non-V3 character, I would have to say Nagito.
Still Nagito.
Nagito's very much high on the list.
Second is, I keep forgetting Stinky's name.
Sayonji,
yeah.
Yeah, Sayonji's a bit of a bitch.
A bit. No, that's being nice.
Well, if you read into her backstory, which we will get into once we get into daily life for Danganronpa 2, Sayonji has a bit of a twisted history. It's kind of fucked, but at the same time, it still doesn't excuse her behavior. Nope. It's one of those things like, it's like the murderer's like, I had such a traumatic past, my mom beat me, and my dad left my mom, and blah, blah, blah. It's a cool story, bro. You still murdered like 50 people. Cool story, bro. Yeah. It's one of those things. Question for both, your favorite moment overall so far?
Nagito's death.
Nagito's death. My favorite moment, unfortunately, is in V3, so I can't talk about it. So favorite character from both arcs. Okay, so let's jump into the anime with that question. So last night and the night before, we were watching Danganronpa anime, which includes the Future and Despair arc. And if you have not watched it, I highly suggest you do so. And the way you watch it, in my recommendation, based on how in Japan it was released, and also how the creators intended it, is you start with the Future arc episode 1, Despair arc episode 1. Future arc episode 2, Despair arc episode 2. You jump back and forth between Future and Despair arcs. That's why you kind of bounce back and forth, because they do correlate with each other. Brian can attest to this when I was being very serious about why this method has to be this way.
Yeah, like right after we watched the first episode of the Future arc, and then when we went right to the Despair arc, it made sense, like right as the beginning of the Despair arc code.
Yeah. Hope arc is involved in Despair arc. That's a lot of people don't understand. They're like, that's a third arc? No, it's one fucking episode called the Hope arc. Yeah. It is in the Despair arc.
It's the end. It's the finale.
It's the finale. So, yeah. It makes sense that I'm talking about that too. But regardless, with the Future and Despair arcs, I would say I love Chisa despite what she goes through.
Yeah.
Because, and even Brian was just kind of like, I like Chisa, fuck. Because, yeah, guys, I just, again warning, we're going to be talking about spoilers about the Future and Despair arcs. Because of what Junko did to Chisa, is the only reason why we're kind of like, Yeah. But before then, she was such a magnificent character. She truly believed she could bring hope as well as do her job at her darling's side. Yeah. So it's kind of like, it was one of those things where it's just like, damn, how the fuck, why the fuck, god damn it. But in terms of Despair arc,
I mean, at least it kind of, for me, it showed me what they were going through before the events of 2.
Yeah. It was really, really nice. So Chisa really got to help with the 77th class.
Speaking of which, Chiaki did not deserve all that happened to her.
Yeah, when Brian, the first episode of Despair arc, the opening showed Chiaki, and Brian just gives me this look of, why the fuck is Chiaki there? And I'm like, I'm not going to say a damn word. And then she turned out to be a real girl, and he just gives me this look of, okay, what's going to happen to her? It takes all the way up to episode 10 to watch the train. No, is it episode 10? No, episode 10 to see the train wreck that fucking happens to Chiaki. And Brian's just like, I understand why now. I understand why people say she doesn't deserve this.
It's like, now I also kind of feel a little bit bad for all the jokes I made about Chiaki during our playthrough too.
No, don't feel bad. That was literally kind of like who she was in a way. So I don't think she wouldn't have minded. But yeah, so a lot of things were revealed and a lot of questions were answered, especially about the 77th class and all that stuff. Oh no, the first time I saw that, I was like so gut-wrenched. I felt like vomiting from all the shit that was the first time I watched it back when it came out. It was just like, what the fuck? This is wrong. This is absolutely disastrous. But it's just kind of like, let's see. No. Okay, Vampiric, make sure you're referencing it's not V3. V3 is a completely different game. And we're not talking about V3, we're talking about D3. D3. D3 is the correct label for it. So, talk about the anime. It's not V3, then it's D3. But yeah, so, it's like, I was so sad with Chiaki. No, it's no stress. It's no stress. We're just making sure that we don't have anyone here who's trying to spoil V3 while we're getting mentally prepared for it. But yeah, that's why Chiaki is best girl. Chiaki is absolutely phenomenal. But however, she was essentially the perfect catalyst, both as a means for the Despair movie to work, and also for the means to have everyone come back together, in Jabberwock Island. So that was kind of... Chiaki was unfortunately the perfect victim, which sucked.
Yeah.
Because, like, all she wanted was to be friends with Hinata. That's all she wanted.
But yeah, it still also answers some questions for me as to, like, for, like, example with, like, Nagito's obsession with Junko. Like, despite the fact that she's the ultimate despair and everything, and yet I'm wondering, like, what's the deal with that? And then watching the anime is like, oh, okay, so he met her at some point, then realized that because she is the ultimate despair, meaning that at some point he knows that hope is going to shine through, and since he's got a hard-on for that shit.
Yeah. And I know a lot of people hate Mikan because she got Chiaki to be captured, but remember, Mikan watched the Despair movie. Because literally, the only reason Mikan stuck around for so long is because she watched the Despair movie.
That, and because she was like, she was completely charmed by Junko as well.
Yeah, it was both. It was like two weapons at once.
Yeah.
So Mikan had no fucking chance. And at that point, you cannot blame Mikan. Because one, Mikan was supposed to take care of Mitarai.
Yeah.
But Mitarai pretty much accidentally led Mikan to Junko, and Junko pretty much took advantage of that. So it's just kind of like, you can't necessarily blame Mikan, just like you can't blame Chisa. Because Chisa went to go save her students, but wound up getting brainwashed and also brain screwed by Mukuro.
Right.
So yeah, because the brainwashing, the Despair video wasn't working on Chisa. So she had to literally get her brain scrambled in order to fucking get the Despair video to work.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, like, hearing that shit, like, especially with the fucking rods going into the skull, at least, you know, breaking it, is just like, ugh, that shit made me cringe.
Oh yeah, you just have to crack the skull to get to the brain, that's all you need to do. What were your favorite scenes in the anime? Mine is very controversial, because it's when Makoto almost dips into despair. When he gets so broken, not only by the death of Kyoko, but also by the death of his classmates. When he's just sitting there listening, begging, and just like, it wasn't his fault, he was trying to help. And then seeing him almost fall into it. That scene was, and to me, was very powerful, because everyone thinks Makoto is happy-go-lucky, everyone thinks Makoto is the endless optimist, but really, in the back of his mind, he always had worries and sorrows and regrets about the deaths of his classmates.
Though, I'm not gonna lie, like, you know, all those deaths of his classmates, like, you'd think it would be taken seriously, and then boom, Mondo butter.
Right? Like, you see everyone's death, like, one by one, well, two by two in the scene, and then you see Mondo to become just butter on the floor. It's like, god damn it, of course. You can't just have him sit on the motorcycle. No, you have to have him as legitimate butter.
I mean, I don't think it would have been any better if, like, it was still butter, but like in the package.
Yeah, it's like, oh my god. What about you? What about your favorite scene? He's thinking about it. Fucking Mondo butter, though.
I don't know if I had one.
No scene that stood out to you?
Not really.
Okay. No, that's fair. Let's see. But no, like, it's really eye-opening, and I would suggest if anyone is, like, lore hunting, definitely give the anime a shot. It clears up a lot of questions.
Yeah, but let's say you kind of, like, if you know, even just a casual fan, you kind of need to watch the anime, since it is essentially, like, finally closes the book on, you know, the whole, I guess, Junko versus Makoto arc or whatever you call it.
Yeah.
Or I don't know, maybe okay, like I gotta ask one thing about V3. Is it still the whole hope versus despair thing, or
yes? The thematics of Danganronpa will always be hope versus despair. So V3 doesn't sway from that. It is in the far future, but it's a matter of
it's still
the
its
themes.
own story.
Yes. In fact, like a lot of people, like if you love the story, stick with Danganronpa 1, 2, and all that stuff. V3 is the extra. V3 is its own entity.
You know, that's a good term for it. The Hope's Peak saga.
Yeah. So yeah, the Hope's Peak saga. It was that. It's just fun. It's just fun. Let's see. Pekka's voice is too low. A lot of the voice actors changed for the anime, and it kind of threw. Like when I first heard it, it kind of threw me off because I'm like, you guys have the budget to get the game actors.
Yeah, like for the most part, they did have some of the game actors. I don't know why they couldn't get the best.
Exactly. So
unless it was a matter of, you know, like the whole union.
I don't know. What death surprised you the most in future art?
Kyoko's.
Kyoko's death surprised you?
Well, I mean, Monica did say that one of the survivors was going to end up dying anyway.
Yeah.
But I still wasn't expecting it to be Kyoko.
Yeah. No, I agree. When I first watched it, I was genuinely surprised at Ruruka's. Simply because of her character is so questionable. Her death was insanely questionable. Because you have this character who killed not only her didn't kill her best friend, attempted to kill her best friend, but killed her boyfriend. While the boyfriend forgave her and understood why, she has so many trust issues. And so, like, to see what happened to her, it was kind of surprising. Because in comparison to, like, a single stab wound for suicide, because the way that future arc works is that it was suicide each time. But Ruruka pretty much tore up her own body, spewing candy all around, and like it was like she tortured herself. So
I don't know. For me, it wasn't that surprising because it, like in my head, she kind of deserved it because. Like,
well, I didn't figure she would die by like the killing game. I figured she would die by like
forbidden action or something.
Yeah, either a forbidden action or Sasakura, I think. Yeah, Sasakura. Yeah, I was thinking Sasakura could have like killed her at one point, but I'd never expected the suicide. But it's just kind of like, huh, interesting. But yeah, so it was like, meh. But yeah, Ruruka had a really fucked up death. Let's see. The question was answered. In terms of favorite character in the anime, we both agreed kind of Chisa. Well, I said Chisa as well as Chiaki, the actual Chiaki.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah, Brian's Chiaki. Yeah, so, but no, yeah, it's he didn't manipulate. It's questionable. There are a lot of questions on whether or not she did, but it was pretty obvious that he was madly in love with her, like that he was devoted to her. Now, whether or not those feelings were real or based off of her confections, we will never know. But I think to a point, even in a survivalist mindset, if he truly wasn't loyal to her, he would have pushed her away. I think he was truly in love with her. That's why he gave her that kiss before he died. So that's just my thoughts on it.
I thought she forced the kiss on him.
She forced the kiss to feed him, but he gave her a second kiss to say goodbye. Thoughts on Juzo being gay for Kyosuke? To me, I hated that story arc. I hated it. Because it was looking at the timeline of Danganronpa, which is in like 2000s. It was like late 2010s. Like early 2010s. It was just kind of like the stigma of being gay. Yeah, he's a boxer. He's meant to be the macho character. Mm-hmm. And yet the stigma is that he has to stay in the closet because he's gay. It's like, we're seriously using this now? But then again, it's another reason why Japan, for me, has always been questionable in terms of writing. Because, like, look at Chihiro. Chihiro's character is based solely around the fact that Chihiro was bullied for being feminine. or bullied for being weak. And so that entire arc is based around Chihiro wanting to be stronger, but then Mondo being the epitome of strength, killing off Chihiro. So it's just kind of like, it's a big questionable, like, there could be better things you could do with this. So,
yeah, like,
yeah.
honestly, I don't know if it's just me, but, you know, the whole Juzo being gay for Kamakura.
Not Kamakura.
Whatever his name is.
Yeah, Juzo being gay for,
Kyosuke.
Yeah, Kyosuke, yeah.
I honestly feel like it didn't really add anything.
Yeah, it's the barrier gaze trope. It is dumb. It's a dumb trope.
Yeah.
It was, yeah, it's cool, like, back in the 90s when it actually still was. Because, like, it's scandalous. Ooh, oh my gosh. But, like, it nowadays, it's, like, it's pointless because we're in such a society that we don't care. Like, oh, you're gay.
Well,
sure.
At least in the West, anyway. Because I don't know if it's still, you know, if
In the
Japan
East,
still has that stigma.
In the East, it's a little more stigmatized. But this is at the same time it's in the Western world. I guess it's because we're in the Western world that we just kind of look at it and just be like, really, this is the trope we decided to go with. Not that maybe Juzo could have been like dying of some sort of weird cancer, or like he has some sort of background trauma that Juzo could use. No, it's the fact that he's gay. Really? So it's just like, again, of course there are so many countries that believe that where being gay is a crime, but we're speaking from the fact that we are from a Western world. We're speaking in the sense of we're both more liberal in thinking, okay, gay people are cool, they're fine, just whatever. It's like whatever. What are your thoughts on the student council killing game? Oh, what do you think about that one? It's the first killing.
No.
Yeah.
Well, the thing for me is that those characters were literally just there to be the catalyst for Junko's plan. I have no idea who the fuck they are, and they were literally just roped into killing each other.
Yeah. It's kind of, for me, like, the scene was actually insanely symbolic, because it shows the fallacy of humanity. It shows the weakness of it, where you get one little bit of blackmail, and that's all it takes to start a war.
Yeah.
So, it's like, I'm pretty sure if everyone was in agreement, if everyone decided to put down their pride and be like, no, we're sticking together through this, all of them just would have been shot at that point. But it wouldn't have been a bloody massacre. It would have just been Mukuro shooting each of them. But one person is enough to start one person is enough to start the massacre. So it's kind of like, eesh.
Yeah, it's like the fact that they have names still doesn't exactly give me reason to care for them, since I knew from the beginning that, you know, they're dead.
Yeah. So like that first killing game, and it's funny enough, if you read Danganronpa Zero, one of the students actually survives, in Danganronpa Zero. The
Really?
student council president himself.
Who was that?
Exactly. Exactly. He was the one who was just kind of like, we have to stick together, we won't be ruining the killing game for the shit hits the fan. In Danganronpa Zero, he actually survives and pretends to be in coma. So it's interesting. We'll talk about more of the book later. I'll talk to you guys about the book, because I've read the book and I've also did a recap on it just so I can remember everything. I've read the book so long ago.
Though, like, going back to that scene, especially like that last dude that was about to shoot Izuru, but instead he went for the fucking chainsaw. It's like, you had the opportunity to shoot him point fucking blank, and you go for the chainsaw that takes a while to kill. You are a fucking idiot.
Right? Which favorite Danganronpa Trigger Happy Havoc ship? Kyoko and Makoto. Easy peasy. If not, for me, it's Byakuya and Toko. And not for the reason everyone's like, because here's the thing. I know people are like tight pantsed about Byakuya and Toko, because like Byakuya abuses her so much. Guys, you realize Toko's a literal like serial killer, like in her other personality.
She could literally like
she can
slit
literally
his
kill
throat
him
at any point.
So it's not an imbalanced relationship when one of them can literally kill the other if they felt like it.
So would you say Toka's a switch?
Yeah, Toko's 100% a switch. So for me, it's like Byakuya and Toko actually can manage each other out. Because Byakuya does force restrictions on Toko to kind of make her a better human.
Yeah, like
mind you, he's an asshole about it. 100% he's an asshole.
Yeah, like for example with Ultra Despair Girls, how he tells her not to use Genocide Jack a lot.
Yeah, he's like, you literally cannot kill with a Genocide Jack. That's a fucking restriction. That makes her a little more human. It's a fucked up way to do it because it's Byakuya, he's an asshole. But mind you, at any point, Toko can literally turn around, say, fuck you, dude, and kill him because he's a pretty boy. And that's her shtick. Like, literally, Genocide Jack's stick is killing pretty boys. So, to say that it's an abusive relationship, it's abusive on both sides. But at the same time, they can balance each other out. So, that's why I'm just kind of like, why are we all mad at Byakuya and Toko? I know you want your lesbian Toko Komaru ship. I get you want your lesbian ship. But at the same time...
Blame the fanfic writers.
It's like, shrug. But my main one is Kyoko and Makoto. Simply because they can balance each other out with emotion and logic.
And the fact that one is literally like, all brains, and the other one is no thoughts, head empty.
No thoughts, head empty. So what do you think of Hajime being the protagonist and antagonist? Here's the thing. I don't think he's an antagonist at all.
I don't think so either.
He's not an antagonist at all. He's 100% a protagonist, and he's a lurker, in essence. Because if you watch the anime, and if you research more into Hajime Hinata, you can realize that he's never been on the side of despair. At no point did he involve himself in the first Killing game. He did not involve himself with the mind breaking of Mikan or Chisa or the reserve course. At no point was he involved. He was a neutral observer. And mind you, after all of this happened, when all of the reserve students jumped to their deaths, he literally said, which one is truly the wild card? Hope or despair? So that's why he went back to erase his memories and to watch. He was never an antagonist to begin with. He was literally a lurker of circumstance where Junko and Oshima's like, you should be on the side of despair. You should be on the side of despair. And everyone thought, oh, because he was involved in the first killing, he must be with the remnants of despair. When really he was just like, I'm going to see which one wins. Who's going to win? Despair or hope? Which one is the wild card? So yeah, I disagree that he's an antagonist of any kind. He's definitely a protagonist, but he's definitely more of a lurker, if anything. Would it be weird for them to build a Chiaki robot? Yeah, it'd be kind of weird.
Oh, yeah.
It could be a little bit weird. What do you think of Mukuro Ikusaba in the anime? I understand why it makes sense. I get why Mukuro is how she is. Brian?
I just see her as a whipping dog. That's it.
It was, in essence, so I was just kind of like... It's weird seeing Mukuro go from Ultimate Soldier to Junko fangirl. That's the only weird thing, because mind you, she was part of Fenrir, which is a group of hired mercenary assassins. Hired mercenary. So it's just kind of like she's supposed to be able to separate emotion from logic in terms of killing and all that, which she does at times. But when it comes to Junko, she straight up turns 180 and becomes a puppy. Which is why if you go through her personal route in Danganronpa Trigger Happy Havoc, you can actually convince her to be like, hey, what the fuck? And if you read Danganronpa What If, which is an actual novel, if you read the What If, you know that Mukuro is much more than a whip. So yeah, it's knowing what would have happened in the What If novel, as well as going through her personal story, as well as knowing her background, it kind of irked me, but I'm like, you know what? I get it. So, shrug. If you could change something with the anime, what would you change? Honestly, I would want Makoto to literally punch me in the face. Straight up. Because I think Mitadai, at that point, at the very end of the show, was just so into his head that it took the entirety of the 77th class to be like, hey, dude, knock it off.
Yeah.
But I think Makoto needed to have been a helpful catalyst. Because he looked at Makoto as like a hero that cannot be touched. He looked at Makoto and was like, no one can be like when Makoto should have been done, who should have done the human act, punched him square in the jaw and showed, like, you know what? This is what humans are, both full of hope and despair.
The problem is that, like Makoto from the beginning of the anime, said that he doesn't want to, solve things with violence. He'd rather just talk it out.
And yet, with the Kyosuke fight, he threw a fire hydrant. He was about to electroshock him, and he literally tackled him into like a 10-foot in the ground. So 10-foot room in the ground. So shrug. That's just kind of like me. Let's see. What do you think about the ultimate imposter? I love him. He's great.
I know nothing about him other than the fact that he can literally become, anyone, I guess, just better.
Oh yeah, yeah. He. I love the imposter simply because not the manga imposter, but the ultimate imposter. Simply because in reality, he's a sweet guy. Like, you can tell that he had a really dark past. He has to hide who he is. He does so perfectly, even with his rotund form. Like, everyone will still think of him as, oh, it's that guy who is not that guy. He's perfect at what he does. So, any theories about Monica and Miyaya and any connection between, the real Miyaya? Hold on. You're gonna have to tell me. You're gonna have to give me a brief of who Miyaya is, Rose, because for some reason that name is blanking. But I swear to God, I know who you're talking about. Miyaya. I swear I know who you're talking about. Let's see. If you could make the mastermind a different person in Danganronpa, who would you choose? The mastermind in Danganronpa, as in other than Junko?
Get Kokahara is what Rose meant.
Get Kokahara. Hold on, I'm blanking.
The one that Monica killed and then replaced the robot version of her?
Oh, yeah! I think that was just mainly coincidental. I don't think there was any backing behind their relationship.
Fair enough.
So I think that's more coincidental, like, oh, she has a computer that I can abuse. And she has a personality that I can manipulate. Done. Instant target. I don't think she necessarily had a relationship with her, and I don't think that it's like a shrug. I think this is more of, ooh, someone who has a computer and someone who doesn't talk. I can use this to my advantage. So yeah. What was the next question?
What about making a different?
I honestly don't think anyone could. I don't think anyone could, because it takes a heavy amount of despair to want the world to burn. And I'm gonna say this, like, as I'm the worst kind of human being in the world. It's like, I honestly think for as much as Junko says she's full of despair, I don't think she had enough. I honestly don't think she had enough despair to be wanting the world to burn. So I think Junko is the best of who we have, but I don't think she's went through enough despair to say she wants the world to burn. Because it's like, yeah, chaos, sure, whatever. And she constantly is like thriving, thrashing, craving chaos and discord and all that stuff. But true despair is being at the bottom of the barrel. True despair is eating and fighting against the rats on the streets for food. True despair is having both your mind and your body broken by multiple forces. Whether it be through, like, a crime or something inhumane. At no point did she really do any of that. She was literally the ultimate fashionista. She had all this power. So really, it was just a power grab, not necessarily the fact that she had any despair to begin with to justify her wanting despair. So, at the end of it, I'm kind of like, if Junko really wanted despair, she could have thrown herself into many situations to bring herself despair. She didn't. She never had. She just wants to see the burn. So, meh. Thoughts on the final confrontation between Makoto and Kyosuke before he snaps out of it? Honestly, when I first saw it, I'm like, okay, this is the only way it could possibly go. This is the only way it could possibly go. Because Makoto wasn't gonna really go, like, head-to-head combat. but he was going to try and stop Kyosuke in any way possible. Well, but at the same time, you could tell Kyosuke was holding back because of his own profile.
Yeah, because especially with that fucking sword that has the Exceed from fucking Devil May Cry, it's like you could have easily killed Makoto at any point if you really wanted, him to die and for your hope to be the one to come out on top, but you didn't.
Also, Kyosuke's hope is dumb.
Yeah.
Can we all just be in agreement that his vision of hope is fucking stupid?
Oh yeah.
Let's kill everyone who has the chance to catch despair. So you mean everyone on the fucking planet, huh? Including yourself. Huh? I wonder how that's gonna work out for you, buddy. Like, oh my god. Hey. Like, my goodness. Out of all the people's death in Danganronpa franchise, who would you prevent and make it not happen, including the Blackened? Honestly, Chihiro. Out of all of them, probably Chihiro. Because Chihiro alive would have done so much more for Future Foundation. Because imagine Chihiro not only teamed up with the ultimate therapist, the ultimate neurologist, the ultimate, like, all of the ultimates with scientific background. Imagine Chihiro alive doing all of that work. So it's just
at
like,
the very least, alter ego.
Yeah, it's just like, I get that Mitara is like ultimate animator. He has the way of subliminal messaging, but mind you, Chihiro probably could have figured that out much faster, and probably would have found a way to stop Mitara regardless. So yeah, and I agree. Chihiro should have lived. Hiro should have died.
I still don't understand how that fucker is still alive.
Right?
Like, if anything, he should be the ultimate lucky student.
His predictions are only 30% correct. Do you think the ending of Danganronpa 2 was messed up? Since some say it was. In terms, like, the ending as in, like, the fact that Makoto pretty much leaves the island to Hinata, and Hinata, in his Izuru form, tries to figure out how to save the rest of the 77th class. I don't think that's messed up at all. I think it makes total sense, because one, Makoto did a bad. He hid the remnants of despair from the Future Foundation, and he has to go get punished for it via this Future and Despair arc in the anime. At the same time, the mechanics of the Neo World program are so complicated that I know a lot of people are like, no, they're dead, they're brain dead because placebo effect. At the same time, it's like, no, the Neo World program still has copies and still has the ability to make copies and to make backups for these 7th and 7th class in order to continue and fix what happened. So Izuru was needing to be there. Izuru needing to step in and be able to help save the 77th makes total sense. So I don't think it's messed up at all. I think it was perfectly done. Like, because Izuru needed to fix Hope.
Yeah, like, especially at the very end of the anime, when suddenly when I honestly thought, like, aside from the survivors, that the rest of the class was out to also be alive, I was just kind of surprised. And of course, the very first person I see from that class alive is fucking Nagito.
1 rock, 2 rock, 3 rock, 4 rock, boulder! And he's like, just from a rock. And it was funny, that moment when that happened, he's like, just from a rock. And I'm like, I wonder who kicked it. Then Nagito shows up and Brian just steps out. I was like,
well, because at least, out of everyone from that class, I'd rather see anyone other than him.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
But at least, the class is alive.
Yeah. I understand. And it's great that they are. So it's just like, what do you think about Junko Enoshima as a character? I think she's interesting. I just think that her actions are unbelievable. I don't think they're pure. Why? Because it takes a lot of trauma for someone to want the world to burn. I say this as a human being, and I say this as someone who has seen people clamor for the idea of an apocalypse. To truly want the world to burn in a state of chaos, is to see every single person die. Not to feel despair, but to see them suffer and die. And despair could be part of it. But the way that Junko was built throughout the games and the anime showed less of someone who wants to see the world burn and more of someone wanting to take over the world. As in shown in Danganronpa 2, where she was willing to put herself into the bodies of the remnants of despair and start a Junkoification. That's not someone she's not gonna like do anything beneficial in terms of despair by having herself literally be everyone. And yeah, so because here's the thing, if she really wanted despair, then she would know that the minute Junkoification succeeded and everyone became Junko,
It would have been boring.
it would have been boring. Exactly. Once everyone's a superhero, no one is. So she should have known, and she is smart enough to understand this. Or at least assume that she's smart enough to understand this. So I don't think she is someone who wants the world to go into despair, she just wants to take over the world. Which brings me to the idea that the fallacy of her wanting despair is charming. Because while she may not truly like think as in terms of despair versus taking the world, others may want despair. Others may want to see people suffer for their own gain. So it's questionable whether, like, Junko for me is an interesting character because she has those nuances of, does she truly want despair or is she just wanting to take over the world? So I don't know. That's just me though. What about you?
But see, that's the thing about me. I can't really give an answer like yours since I'm not as heavy into the series as you are. So for me, Junko's just kind of like there to be the villain.
Yeah.
I don't know how I can like analyze her, I guess, behaviors and stuff like you can. Since, yeah, literally all she just wants is despair. But of course, you can't exactly have, you know, what you like. She even said herself, you can't always get what you want. So of course, you know, having total despair across the world isn't exactly going to happen.
Yeah. Kodaka literally said that he was sick of villains being sympathetic, so he intentionally wrote it with no backstory and depth. And I get that too. I mean, I wrote Malik's the same way. Like, Malik from Seduce Me literally doesn't give a shit about anyone. Will literally break, kill, rape, whatever, in order to get what he wants. And he doesn't have any sort of backstory other than he's a demon. Like, no, not a demon. He's a devil. He doesn't care. And that's fine. 100%. At the same time, there's a difference between backstory and motivation. What's the motivation for despair? Oh, wild card. Interesting. But a super analysis like her would know that at the end of it, it would become boring. At the end of Junkoification, it would become boring. At the end of making everyone miserable, it would become boring. So if her end goal was to stop having a boring life, then she obviously didn't do it correctly. So what is the true end goal? To take over the world. Because at that point, she could do whatever she wants without worrying about being being boring. Being bored. Because if she has control, then she can do whatever she wants to stop the boredom. So yeah, that's where my issues lie with her. It's not about her backstory or her depth or whatever. We get that from Danganronpa Zero. We get that from all of the anime, whatever. It's the fact that the ends do not justify her questionable means. She wants chaos. She wants wild cards. A smart person like her would understand despair is not the end goal. Despair would literally bring more boredom. But yeah, so, alright, what's that? Whose execution from the Danganronpa franchise hurt you the most? I was...
Also V3?
No, actually.
So then it's either Tanaka or Peko.
Yeah, it's Tanaka or Peko. That one hurt me the most. 100%. I'm just like, I fucking want to cry at that.
Yeah, not so much an execution, but Need Eye's death.
I I think we exemplified your feelings on that death with that video.
You did.
I did. And I'm sure I did it correctly. I'm pretty sure that was what was going on in your mind. Oh,
shut up.
Caesar! Need I? But sorry, what's next? If you have seen or heard about the unused executions, which one is your favorite? Have you seen it? I don't
Nope.
think I've showed.
You only showed me like the beta one for Leon, was it?
Yeah, it was that one. But I think my favorite one. I gotta think about it real quick. I only know the unused ones in Danganronpa 1. So I think my favorite would have to. Yeah, no, you know what? Fuck it. Yeah, my favorite would have to be Sayaka. Because if Sayaka got away with killing Leon, but let me explain for those who don't know what. Basically, you'd see Sayaka on stage with a microphone, dressed up and all that stuff, and the fake fans, of course, all replaced with Monokumas, and of course, she has to sing for her life. And so she does a show, she does a little performance, blah blah blah, and there's a bar on the side that goes all the way up, and based off the cheering of the crowd. And she's literally dancing on top of a bear trap. And if she doesn't get enough points, and if she doesn't, the bear trap snaps and kills her. So yeah, it's just kind of like, I love that one. That one's very imaginative. It's just kind of like, because that's the worst kind of way a performer to go, is literally death on stage. That's literally torture. But yeah. What we got? Which forbidden action do you think is the most clever? Like Juzo not being able to punch. Which one's clever?
I love how the music is like
right. It's the contemplative music. I think my favorite action, would have the most clever one would have to be. I think it is Makoto's No Running in the Halls. Because it shows once again he is still, in the eyes of Junko and Ashima, a stupid student. Because everyone else had things based off of their talents. What does Makoto have? No running in the fucking halls.
Well, not all of them are based on talents. Like with Kyoko,
was based on Makoto.
Yeah.
But that's the thing. Her entire personality was almost revolving around protecting and supporting Makoto.
Okay, what was Asahina's?
Asahina's, she could not get punched. I think his was by far the funniest and most clever, because it's like, especially since he was against violence, but everyone around him, a lot of people around him were for violence. So at no point could he run away from it in a hallway. So it's just kind of like, it's interesting to show that he at the end of it all, he was still looked at as a student, as someone beneath. Thank you, by the way, for this, guys. Yeah, so I think it's fun. It's fun. So go ahead.
No, just like earlier, someone mentioned about that one dude that couldn't witness violence. No, it's just like, why would I say it's clever? But it's just like going back to that dude is like, whose idea was it to give him such a high squeaky voice?
Oh no! Yeah. Because like a lot of people are like, why the fuck does he have a female voice? It's like, that's because his character is kind of, because he's a farmer. He's the ultimate farmer.
Honestly, yeah, exactly. Like oh.
Hi, train incoming!
But it's like, I don't know. For me, it just, I guess it's because, we don't see him long enough to know more about him. He's only just there and they're like, he's essentially the red shirt.
Yeah, in essence, at that point, he became a red shirt. Which is why it's like, why did no one think that at that point, Sakakura? Yeah, Sakakura, the minute the farmer died, why did no one think that Sasakura was the imposter for causing violence and causing another person to die?
Well, because I don't think they knew about the action.
So it's just kind of like, I don't know, fucking shrug. Let's see what we got. Uh, do you think Monica seceded or succeeded?
Pretty sure it's succeeded.
Succeeded as Junko's successor. I think she's just. I don't think she would have been a good sister at all. Very honest, because the way she thinks is different. I think, in the far essence of wanting despair as the main goal, Monica had more of a chance to be a better ultimate despair than Junko.
Really?
Because, mind you, she was the bastard child of a big corporation, abused by both father and brother, and had to literally pretend to have broken her legs to get some sort of sympathy. Even then, she was put in the problem child program at Hope Seek Academy. So she had every reason to be full of despair.
Fair.
So I think in that retrospect, she would have succeeded far more than Junko has. But I think she's just not, like, she understands why, like, no, that's dumb.
Well, I mean, yeah, we saw at the end, she just pulled the cars and just floated off into space and stopped thinking.
Yeah, pretty much. She's like, fuck this! Hype train, hype, hype, hype! Let's see what else we got. What would your ultimate talent be? Mine would probably be ultimate creative. Because I wouldn't be writing novels like Toko or Doujinshis like Hifumi. But making like I wouldn't be ultimate game dev because that would require me to be a good programmer. I think like more of a storyteller. So it's like ultimate, not a muse, but ultimate storyteller. Because I can tell stories in different mediums. I can write books, I can make games, I can do all that. So I think, yeah, ultimate storyteller. What about you?
I have no idea because Ultimate Musician's already been taken, though really Ibuki does not deserve that title. Because, I don't know, I would think for being the Ultimate Musician that, you know, she would be proficient in all instruments, not just the guitar.
Well, it never gave a chance to show her different instruments. Or that's her preferred. There was no reason for her to play other instruments. So,
not to mention, I don't know, I would also think that she'd be able to, you know, play music that, you know, people would enjoy and not just, you know, have everyone fucking screaming in pain.
Well, I think that's why I'm thinking the definition of musician is not necessarily in judgment of good, like Simon Cowell, is it so good type of moment, but more so just the genius of making music. That she can go out of the box and make something unique. So... let's see, what else we got here? Who is your favorite MC? Hinata.
Yeah, I'll say Hajime.
I like Makoto.
No, I don't.
Me and Brian have different opinion again, but I found Makoto to be fine, but Hinata had much more of a personality.
Exactly, because I get it that Makoto's, you know, the ultimate hope and blah blah blah, but especially when you play one, he is a fucking moron. A complete headless or empty-headed fucko.
Whereas like Hinata has a brain, and Hinata can figure things out real quick. But mind you, here's the fun question: is Hinata smart because of his own intuition, or is it because of the increased intuition he has as Izu Kamakura?
Well, I mean, we can assume that at least in 2, with that Neo World version of him, that was his own being.
Yeah. Yeah, just people like, and I see more people resonating with Hajime more than Makoto, because Makoto is literally Sora from Kingdom Hearts.
Only with less of a brain.
With less of a brain. So it's just kind of like, nyeh. But yeah, so it's just kind of like, shrug. I like Makoto because he's dumb, and that's fair. People sometimes like dumb characters because it's like they're fun.
But yeah, no, like if people have seen our playthrough of Danganronpa 1, you most likely have, you know, heard my frustrations with Makoto.
What do you feel about Kotoko's backstory? I'm assuming Kotoko's backstory and Ultra Progress. It makes sense. I think it was written correctly.
Yeah.
It's brutal, it's harsh, and it's sometimes reality, which is sad. I think Ultra Despair Girls 100% is indeed a darker tale for Danganronpa, but at the same time, those stories do happen.
It's just that also at the same time, like, I think she only needs to bring up the whole kitty porn thing once. You don't have to keep mentioning it.
At the same time, trauma fucks up a lot of people, and trauma can be repetitive as that. So that's why I don't blame the repetitiveness. I get why people get annoyed by it. You can't, but the thing is, you can get annoyed by it. You still have to recognize the problem.
There's one thing to be like to repeatedly bring up some things for the sake of story, but don't be like anime doing flashbacks of something that just happened not even a minute ago kind of thing.
Well, there's that. That's different.
That's what some things feel like to me, at least especially with Ultra.
Yeah. If you had to guess Kyosuke's IQ, what would you? Oh, I don't know. I
don't know the measure of it. So I don't know.
He's smart. Let's go for there. Let's see. Do you expect anything in the final game? Okay, here's the thing, guys. Michaela Laws, have played V3 before. I have played Danganronpa V3. I've played it myself. Brian and so many people here have not. So I know what to expect. So I cannot answer. I wish I could, but I cannot answer. But, Brian, what do you expect in...
I don't know. Because again, I haven't played it, and you're not gonna tell me anything about it.
Nope.
So, what the hell am I gonna expect?
That's fair. Except that one clip that I showed you of Monokuma bitching about Sonic.
Yeah. Other than, well, there's also one other thing I know about it, but that's spoilers, so.
Yeah. Regardless, let's go. Also, for those of you who are new here, let me teach you a little bit of etiquette. Do not try and plug other streamers during a stream.
Yeah.
Especially when it's like, oh, they're streaming right now. Like, so am I. And we're here. So you can make a choice to stay here or go over there. That's just etiquette and not being rude. So, just a careful tip. Hey guys, who wants Michaela? What? Huh? Who? What? Where? That's a canon thing. Yeah, that Monokuma fucking despises Sonic.
Yeah, I think he mentions like because of what, it's annoying how fast he is or how popular he is.
He's
how
popular he is. So yeah, so it's kind of like. Question for Brian: how has playing Ultra Despair Girls before Danganronpa 2 impacted your impression?
All I know is that it made me hate Nagito before we were quote unquote introduced to him in 2.
Otherwise? Would you say that it was spoilers?
Not at all.
Would you say that you were spoiled on the experience of Danganronpa 2?
Not even close. Like, it literally had nothing to do with it. The only thing that it would show into, again, was just Nagito and how crazy he is for Hope.
Yeah.
Other than that, literally like the whole Toa stuff, the Shiro and Kurokuma, all that stuff can just be in its own thing. So I still don't see why, there are some small group of like no-brain people to say, oh, don't play Ultra Despair Girls before 2, it's spoilers. No, it's not. And this is coming from some guy that, is still technically new to the series. I can guarantee you will be fine playing Ultra Despair Girls before.
Yeah. So there you go. So if you need someone who's not me, a veteran at Danganronpa, telling you to stop getting your panties in a twist about Ultra Despair Girls, here's someone who obviously is still new to the series, who can vouch that you're fine. So, shrug. Anyways, so what else we got? What we got?
This again. What up?
What are your thoughts on Jay's choice of a husband? Who is that?
I don't know. I haven't.
Can someone fill me in on Jay's choice of husband? Someone fill me in? Who is your favorite voice actor in the Kira Buckler? Or Yuri Lowenthal? Wait, not Yuri. Johnny. Johnny Bosch.
Johnny Bosch?
Yeah, Johnny Bosch or Kira Bachman.
Patrick Side.
Sice is so good. Patrick is so good. But yeah. Let's see what we got. Does Makoto's sister reappear in any of the Danganronpa storylines? In the anime, she literally has an episode dedicated to the Ultra Bear Girl son.
Other than that, then that's it's either just Ultra Despair Girls or the anime. That's
yeah. So let's see. Who or what's your favorite robotic bear? Monokuma, Shirokuma, Siren, Monokuma. I think my favorite is just plain old Monokuma.
Yeah.
B1 Monokuma. Because he's such a sassy fucker, and I can voice it for God's sake.
Canonically, Ultra Despair Girls is supposed to be before 2, so I don't see why people have a problem. Exactly.
The thing is, a lot of people have a quote-unquote problem. I'm not going to go into a vent. I've done my venting on this already.
I think I know what you're getting at. I think it's because the fact that Ultra Despair Girls came out after 2.
Yeah.
That they would think that they have to play it in terms of release order, not so much the story.
And a lot of people claim that the final scene that happens after after the credits, where you see Izukuru rip out the innards of Shiro and Kurokuma, they think that that's the AI that he's supposed to bring into Jabberwock Island. Like, no, it's not.
Oh no.
What?
He sims for Nagito.
Oh no, we've talked about this. Here's the thing, guys. After our Among Us stream, basically me, Brian, Jay, Mike, Raz, and Yami all sat and just had like a little powwow with each other, and we were talking about Danganronpa, and he's like, yeah, he loves Nagito, and I'm like, oof.
Yeah, no, like I've said with even though I'm still a newbie, that with Nagito you either love him to the ends of the earth, no matter, and he could do no wrong, or you just absolutely fucking despise him. There is absolutely no middle ground for him.
Oh yeah, 100%. It's like you either love him or you hate him. And if you love him, you defend him with your life. And if you hate him, you fucking bash that fucker into the ground. Any chance you get.
Like me.
So it's kind of fun. It was kind of hilarious because here's the thing. Jay actually explained it to us. Why he likes it. Because he loves Nagito's manipulativeness. He loves that Nagito's smart. Which makes sense. Because you can still like a villain character for their actions. Like, I
will give it that, yeah, he is smart. Because, he does pick up on things a lot faster.
Yeah.
So
even in the anime, you were pretty much like, yeah, this is Nagito.
Mm-hmm. But it's just I don't know. I still can't stand the fucker.
No, that's fair. That's extremely fair. What's next? That's an extremely fair though. Let's see. You get to prevent one character's death, but simultaneously you bring back one deceased villain.
Well, I mean,
there's only one villain,
and that's
Junko Enoshima.
So it's kind of a fuck situation, no matter which way you put about it.
So regardless of a character you bring back Junko Enoshima. Though Mukuro was technically a villain until Danganronpa 1. She was technically a villain in the the anime, as well as in Danganronpa Zero. She's technically a villain. So bring back Chihiro and bring back Mukuro. There's your caveat right there.
Wait, I thought
Mukuro, until Danganronpa Trigger Happy Havoc, was a villain. And then, if you talk to Mukuro, you see that Mukuro has a change of heart. Until she's stabbed with the Spears of Quinir.
Yeah, but
he's a villain. I'm using loopholes. They never specified what villain. So yeah, that's my opinion on the matter. Anyone? Let's see. Would you consider the fact that the survivors of the first game joining the first game make an appearance in both the spoiler, or do you just go with that the survivors of the first game joining the first game making an appearance in? No, it's not a spoiler at all. Well, okay, it's a spoiler if you fucking skip Trigger Happy Havoc, which I don't understand why you would skip Trigger Happy Havoc, because that's literally the first one. It'd be like, yeah, you can skip Ultra Despair Girls because you can.
Yeah,
But
like, I don't understand some people that skip some games that are especially story heavy,
yeah,
and then get mad about as to why you're confused. It's like skipping Chain of Memories, like a lot of people did, and then go right to do it, and then you have a bunch of questions as to why is Sora here, who's Roxas, what's this organization 13 bullshit, and all that.
exactly. Like, don't skip the first game, or else it would be a spoiler if you jump automatically into Danganronpa 2, and you're just kind of like, okay, play, and then you're just like, who the fuck is this guy? Who this? Who that? Who the fuck are you? Who that? Who the fuck are you? Who are you? It's like, why would you skip the first one? It's dumb. Okay, do you think the brainwashing of the DR2 cast was a good plot device? Yes. I firmly believe yes. It was a very good plot device. Why? Subliminal messaging is a thing. Subliminal control and brainwashing is a thing. I love how people are just like, oh, it's too fantastical for it to be. No. Literal trauma survivors have to break through their own mental barriers using subliminal messaging and brainwashing in order to rekindle those memories for testimonies in court cases. It's not a thing that's like, we're not trying to, like, in normal human society, we don't use brainwashing to, like, brainwash people into doing whatever we command. It's a matter of, like, using it for other abilities, such as breaking through trauma or breaking through memory barriers. So, the fact that brainwashing is used in Danganronpa is brilliant. It's fucking brilliant. Especially when you see Junko analyzing it, which shows more of her analyst side, which makes Danganronpa Zero make so much sense.
Yeah, because the funny thing is, like, next question was, have I read Danganronpa Zero? I have not, but literally right before the stream, we watched a video that summarizes the events of Danganronpa Zero.
Yeah, because I've read the book, but I needed a recap because I read the book so long ago. It was a long while ago since I read the book. I needed to recap on what happened. And yeah, Junko is not only the ultimate despair as well as the ultimate fascination, she's also the ultimate analyst. So to see her analyst brain in motion, to see it happen is just brilliant. And just, it's a nice little Easter egg for those who read Danganronpa Zero. But yeah.
No, sorry, I'm also seeing someone saying about that Kamaru and Toko didn't end up together, and I get why some people would think that, but you gotta remember that Toko still is nuts for Byakuya.
Yeah, and also, like, Komaru still doesn't know where she lives. She says she's still into guys, but, like, she could be bisexual. She could still not know that she may not be into guys. Like, at no point was it really like Komaru is dead in love with Toko. It was more of like, it's one of those arguments where like, oh no, they're sharing the same fucking 3 feet of space. They must be in a relationship. I was like, no, they're not. No, just, and I get that life and death situations can make relationships 100%, but at what point is the, oh no, we're standing right next to each other, I saved your life, you must have sex with me now! When is that going to become an obvious, oh, okay, that's too much?
I don't think it's ever going to be, especially when fanfic writers are always going to continue to exist.
Do you think Chiaki deserved her death? No!
No.
Who the fuck thinks Chiaki deserved it? I think she was a perfect victim, is why she was chosen to die. But did she deserve it? Fuck no! She did not deserve to die, especially in that manner. Fuck no! If Juzo never stopped Makoto from committing suicide, what do you think would have happened? I think it would have been a fuck situation. Because then they would have thought that, because remember, Kyosuke, Asahina, and Mitarai were in a room, and if Juzo comes in, and then they go out and see Makoto is dead, they're going to assume Juzo's the murderer and all that stuff. They would have killed him, shit would have hit the fan, etc., etc., etc. So yeah, that whole situation would have just had everyone be killed. Because, you know, Juzo was not going to go down without a fight.
Who the hell is Bryce? Oh, there it is.
What do you would say is your favorite Danganronpa game?
2.
Ultra Despair Girls.
Well, yeah, Ultra Despair Girls, yeah, just because Only because of the fact that I can actually play the game rather than just, keep reading.
Yeah. So it's just kind of like Ultra Spirit Girls is a breath of fresh air compared to the visual novel dialogue heavy games of Danganronpa. In retrospect, if it's just between Danganronpa 1 and 2 and V3, I like 2 a little more than V3. But I'm not gonna talk about V3. But regardless, it's just like in terms of the visual novel aspects, 2 then V3 then. What has your opinion of Ryota and Tugami's Ryota Mitarai? Yeah. Of their relationship, of their friendship? I think it's more of it's a symbiotic understanding of you want to keep working on your anime, I want to have a new identity. And I think it's more of just showing how the imposter had more of a human side than just being an imposter. Everyone thinks the imposter is like, oh, he's pretending to be someone else. He's literally nothing. It's like, no, this is still a human being taking care of someone. So I think it's an interesting relationship. I think it's interesting. What would Danganronpa be like if Junko wasn't evil?
Then there'd be no story.
Yeah, because you have to have a catalyst for the despair. Except, here's the thing. If Junko wasn't the enemy, let's say take Junko and Mukuro out of the picture, because they're obviously all fair. We still have the issue of Hope Peak Academy using the reserve corps money for Izuru Kamakura. And they can't lock him away forever. They're gonna have to reveal it at one point or another. Would the reserve students have felt the same way if Hope's Peak had announced it in a formal publication of Izuru Kamakura?
But see, the thing is, I don't think, because no doubt they would most likely, announce Izuru Kamakura, but I don't think they would, let the reserve students know where they got the funding for that. You know?
Well, I think people would put two and two together. Where did all this money come from? Oh, obviously the reserve courts, who they obviously know their money is funneling into the school, and if the school was doing the research on it, obviously they're funding. So would the reserve corps students act the same way as Junko initiated? Or would they be more understanding and almost excited to find out that talent could be artificial?
I think they would be upset. There would still be a protest, but probably not as violent as in
Yeah. Did you first think Shirokuma was a girl? No.
I did.
You did?
The voice threw me off.
Oh, no, that's fair. See, I saw Shirokuma and I'm like, oh, no. Oh, dear. Especially when he was lusting after Komaru and all that stuff. I'm like, oh, no. This is the robot bear without a penis. But yeah. Question: should there be an anime of the Danganronpa first cast before the killing? No.
Nah, I think
because that's literally the despair arc. Because they were hidden very well.
Not to mention, you could most likely get the same answer by watching the despair arc. The 77th class, and most likely apply to the 78th.
Yeah, because it's literally the same. They just survived the big march of the reserve corps. And so, literally, there was nothing new with them. It's just them bonding with each other. So it's kind of like, what did you think of Fuyuhiko's sister? Kind of a bitch. But, you know what? I can't necessarily... I can't be mad at her for wanting bigger ambitions. I just wish that she would have kept her fucking mouth shut.
Yeah, it's clear, like, she is still a bitch, but at the same time, it's like, she just wants what everyone else in the reserve force wants, to be in the Hope Peak, the main court.
Yeah. So it's just kind of like, if she would have kept her fucking mouth shut, she probably would have been put up. Because if she was that devoted, she would be showing Hope's Peak her devotion to Fuyuhiko and all that stuff, and become ultimate little sister. So, I don't know. Thoughts on Komaru as an MC? I think she was good as an MC, and I think we really, in the thematics of Danganronpa being ultimates versus regulars, in that thematic scale, Komaru was perfect as an MC for both recognizing that she was just a human, She was just a regular nobody.
Yeah,
But she still had the power to overcome talents.
my problem with it is that, again, it was early before how they kept bringing the whole repetition thing that kept getting annoying.
Yeah.
It's like, we understand from the beginning that she was, a normal girl. But I'm pretty sure they brought that fact up at least like 7 or 8 times throughout the game.
Yeah, that's fair.
But again, it's just, that was my only problem with it, and probably could have used a little more development.
Yeah.
Other than that, she's
Yeah, she's a good MC. So it's like, meh. My goodness. Did you guess that Chihiro was a boy before the... Yes. Yes, I did. Because here's the thing. Japanese anime doesn't always necessarily build upon tricking the audience one way or another. I think Chihiro, while sweet, had a little bit more of a boyish side, which I'm kind of like. So for me, I was just kind of when I first played it, long time ago when I first played it, I'm like, okay, this is either a really sweet tomboy or this is actually a boy. And mind you, by the time we hit Chihiro's arc, when Chihiro was talking about how he wanted to become stronger, how he wanted to not be weak anymore, and all that stuff, I'm like, okay, this is a boy. This is 100% a boy. Because girls in Japanese culture don't talk like this. They don't. As much as modern day we'd want them to, back then it was no girl talks about wanting to be stronger. They want to be more feminine. They want to be more womanly. They want to be more like a wife, a girlfriend, more girly. It's the boys that typically talk about wanting to be stronger in that regard and relying on like Mondo to be stronger. So I'm like, no, this is a boy. 100%. This is a boy. Let's see. What do you think of the concept of Danganronpa itself? From what we know, because there are things you learn in V3, from what we know beyond, like outside of V3, I love the thematics behind behind the idea of hope versus despair, as well as the thematics of talent versus normalcy. Constantly throughout the games, while the obvious one is hope gonna win or is despair gonna win? It's obviously also, is talent going to see things through? Is talent going to see things through, or is someone normal going to set the record straight? Because Makoto and Hinata both are normal kids in a way. Makoto just has an absurd amount of luck, and Hinata was indeed a normal reserve corps student until he got fucked up. So there is a theme of normalcy versus talent. I love that theme the most because it shows that regardless of what talent you have, you can still change things. You can still do things differently outside of your talent, etc., etc. So yeah, so I was just kind of like... Meh. Even though Komaru says she doesn't have a big brother complex, do you think she has one? No, I don't think she has one. I think it's more so of just, mind you, she's been missing for a while. Like, she was literally trapped in an apartment for, like, what, a year? Yeah, for, like, a little more than a year. And she hasn't seen her family. She was the same with her mom, her dad. Like, I think she was, as that matter of, I miss my fucking family. Like, I don't think it's a matter of a complex. I think it's like, oh my god, you're alive, thank god. I'm, like, what would I have done if you had died? And all that stuff. So, I don't think it's a complex, so. Yeah. Thoughts on Chisa? Oh, we love her. We kind of got fucked up when she got fucked up. Because, like, a reason why it's so important to go from Future Arc Episode 1 to Despair Arc Episode 1 to Future Arc Episode 2 to Despair Arc Episode 2 is to show the true correlation between these arcs. Especially around the 77th class and Chisa. Because Chisa, at the very beginning, all the way up to episode 10, was playing both a teacher and a spy. So it's a matter of Chisa was very smart, very devoted, very willing, very intelligent, and as well as wise. But then it's all thrown under the bus when Junko gets her hands up. Well, more so Mukuro getting her fucking, like, stab needles into her. So it's just kind of like, she's a wonderful character. So, alright. Which protagonist is your favorite? Hinata.
Yeah, like that one really good.
Yeah. Do you believe that Makoto and Kamaru's parents are alive? Yes.
Nope.
Brian says one way, I say another.
Because I've said before, unless we see bodies or at least, living faces, they're dead.
I'm of the opposite. Unless we see their dead bodies, they're not dead. So, that's my opinion.
Nah, they're dead.
Not gonna lie, I wasn't a fan of Junko being the ultimate analysis of VR3. Well, here's the thing. Have you read Danganronpa Zero? Jake the Snake, have you read Danganronpa Zero? Because it makes sense as to why. So, for those of you who don't know about Danganronpa Zero, allow me to summarize it very basic. So, after the first killing, which is with the student council, the 14 students that basically went to the first murder. Junko Enoshima was suspect number one. So, in order for her to have deniability and an alibi, while she was getting interrogated by the ultimate neurologist, she asked the neurologist, who is also Junko Enoshima's childhood friend, to erase her memories. So, when she gets her memories erased, she becomes the ultimate analysis. Because she doesn't have a history. All she knows is that she's a very good analysis, and so she's labeled as the ultimate analysis. So, beyond that, that is literally why that's why she's touted as an insanely genius human being. Because not only is she fucking fucked in the head, but she's also too smart for her own good. So she can analyze things quickly.
Also, just real quick for anyone that just joined, we are not talking V3 at the moment. We will play it eventually, just not right now. So any questions or theories and stuff like that about V3, let's put that off to the side for now. Right now, the only thing we're discussing is 1, Ultra Despair Girls, 2, and the anime, which is Danganronpa 3.
And a little bit of the books.
And some of the books.
Is it really fine to have Crucial Factor? Yes. Why? Because you don't necessarily need to read it to know that Junko's smart. If you play Danganronpa 1, you recognize that she is a sociopath. That she's schizophrenic. But she also has, literally, scientists have shown that those people who are smart, have high IQs, get bored very, very easily, which makes sense because she herself claims that she gets bored very, very easily. So, the thing is, she's smart enough, 1, to outsmart everyone at Hope Speed. 2, create an AI that would transfer not only into Ultra Despair Girls, but also into Danganronpa 2. So it's just like, she has the brains for all of this. So at no point at no point does it make no sense for her to be an analyst, when her entire basis is the fact that she's so smart.
I think, if anything, again, it's just one of those details that in the long run you don't really need to be that concerned about, for how someone asked about Kyoko getting burns on her hand. There is an answer to that. It's exactly in a light novel.
Yeah.
But you don't need to read the entire thing.
Yeah.
To understand, because what was it? She got burned by acid, was it?
Yeah. She was burned. She was burned in the middle of an investigation.
So.
Yeah. So a lot of character stuff is based in the small books. Like there's one for Byakuya, one for Kyoko. There's fucking one for Yasuhiro. If you finish Ultra Despair Girls, you get the side story for Yasuhiro, which also involves some of the kids from the some of the fucking I can't remember what they're called now. Warriors of Hope. Some of the Warriors of Hope kids. So it's just kind of like, yeah. Have we seen Danganronpa 2.5? No, and we're going to skip that one.
What is that?
It's Nagito's story.
Yeah, no, fuck that.
Basically, for those who don't know, the Danganronpa 2.5 is literally Izuru going into the Neo World program to try and rescue everyone, and Nagito's the last to be saved. And so it's Nagito's point of view of getting saved by Izu. So yeah, we're going to be skipping them. Since I don't think you guys like Yasuhiro, who should have wanted to take Chihiro?
Yeah.
I think Chihiro should have taken his spot.
So, honestly, who does like Yasuhiro?
There's some people who do, because he's goofy. Goofy characters are like, he's just an idiot, though. So it's just kind of like, yeah. It's fun to really think about kind of the entirety of the lore altogether, because a lot of things make sense, and then there's still a lot of questions to be had, which V3 is gonna really spin a lot of these out of control. It's gonna be great. And there's another character we're gonna have to add to our shit list in V3, but we're not gonna go into there just yet. Have you done the free time events of DR2? Not yet on stream. I have myself when I first played DR2, but we have not done it for this. We haven't even finished number 1, which we will finish soon. I promise we will. Yes, here's meh. He's funny, kind of dumb, but he's ultimately useless. 100%. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, the Yasuhiro is literally that quote. It's like, my predictions are right 30% of the time, most of the time.
Do you think Celeste's execution was lame or uncreative? What do you think?
Not at all.
I personally think it was brilliant.
Yeah, I think it fits her character.
Which here's the thing that a lot of people don't analyze. Which I analyzed this when I first played it. I'm like, that's so brilliant. The Witch Hunt of Versailles. It's set on a stage, a wooden stage, with her bunny above the stage. Which, by the way, was going to be an accessory in the game. The bunny that's on top of the stage was going to be an accessory she had on him, but they cut it because for design reasons. The Witch Hunter Versailles. She's on a stage. She's in front of an adoring crowd, getting burned at the stake. It's a moment of glory. It's a moment of. It's kind of like Joan of Arc. It's basically the Joan of Arc, where she'll be hailed as some sort of martyr, being burned at the stake, and she's gonna be above humans. But remember, her biggest weakness was being normal. She hated the idea of being normal. That's why she threw away her normal name for Celestia Ludenberg. So, what is the most common What is the most common type of death humans have? Car crashes. A fire truck comes in and interrupts her moment of glory, and she dies getting hit by a truck. The most human and normal way to die. She didn't get to die by a queenly execution. She was robbed via a normal, boring death. And it was insanely symbolic, which makes, in my opinion, her execution fun. Her execution is so fun. And I know a lot of people are like, oh, come on, this is boring. Like, no, you want a boring execution? The most boring execution is blast off for the first one. Is literally you go up into space, you come right back down. There's no symbolism in that. There really isn't. The only symbolism is literally Jin going up and reaching the peak of hope, and then coming back down and dying from it.
I'll say there is. You know, there's gonna be some weirdos that's gonna make real big stretches into Jin's execution.
Right. Jay thought, oh, I will fight Jay. Like, Jay, I'm gonna message Jay one of these days. Jay, we're gonna fight, because I will show you the artistry that is all of the executions, including Mikan's. I will argue that Mikan's is probably the most symbolic, which makes it visually boring, but symbolically beautiful. Because here's the thing, ultimate pansexual. Here's the thing, Mikan's death. Let's back it up a little bit. Hold on, I have the music for this shit. I got the music for this. Hold on.
Ooh.
I do. I have the music for this. I gotta pull it up. I gotta remember which one it is, which track it actually is. Where are you? I think I remember the track title. Yep, this one. Oh. Okay. So, Mikan, brainwashed by Junko Enoshima, is laying in a bed, about to get jabbed with a needle. So Monokuma runs in and stabs it into an arm. So, and just starts pumping it full of this drug. And Mikan's getting affected. So obviously we think it's very sexual, blah, 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 blah. And then the thing opens up to reveal that she is literally straddling an arm that shoots all the way up into fucking space. And it's the whole, like, holy fuck, what the hell? And everyone's just watching Mikan go from point A to point B with half of the arm breaking off and her blasting far off into the cosmos. Now, allow me to explain what just happened in layman's terms. She was drugged and OD'd. She was shot up with killing drugs. So it's more of the sense of, this is a fucking psychedelic dream. This is a lethal injection. And that would be even more boring to see Mikan sitting in a chair with a lethal injection. How do you make that interesting? You make it incredibly symbolic. She's laying in a bed, and Monokuma runs up, jabs it into an arm, and pumps it like a freaking jackhammer into this arm. She's the one getting affected, even though it's not the arm, it's not her physical arm. And she's getting so psychedelically into this drug, like, holy shit, what's going on? To where the arm literally shoots itself up high into space. The word is high, ladies and gentlemen. She OD'd.
It's also shooting up.
Yeah, it's also shooting up. The keywords are shooting up. So also, and here's another thing, if you listen to the lyrics of that execution and all the other executions, which is based off of Mikan's specific execution, it's reach for the stars, reach so high. It's literally that. It's literally talking about how the drugs that she's getting the lethal injection from, she's getting high off of. And she dies because of ODing. It's more symbolic than it is literal. That's why it makes sense. Because you can't just have Mikan sit there and take a drug. That's boring as fuck. So what do? You make it visually symbolic. And how do you do that? By making a literal Mikan get shot up into space. I will 100% agree, it is not the best. I will say there are worse ones. Blast Off to me is the worst one. Blast Off to me is by far the most boring. The most boring execution. So, and I thought we was bad. So yeah, it's just kind of like, that's why Mikan's execution is not as bad as people make it out to be. It's because it's because I have that fucked up It's because I have that fucked up brain that's kind of like, okay, why is this execution so significant? Why is it significant to Mikan? Oh, it's because it's symbolic. Wait, wasn't Celeste related to Hakakura? No, it's different. You can have the similar names, but that doesn't mean they're related. It's kind of like how, like, there's different Lees in the world. There's different, like, Lewises in the world. There's different... Everyone can have a different name, and everyone can have the same name, but not be related. It's just kind of just how it happens. From D3 Future Arc, what was the dumbest, lamest forbidden action, and what was the most interesting? I think the dumbest one was not being able to open doors.
Yeah, that one's pretty stupid.
That was so dumb. It's like, why? Open the door for hope. No, you just can't open fucking doors. Because you a dumb fuck. And then I think the most interesting one, again, is you can't run in the halls. Because it's more of an attack on Naegi versus an actual punishment. So...
Oh, wait, what was the one that put all those Bengals on?
Oh, that was Tengen. That was Tengen. Let's see... I'm looking for ones that have the question tag on it. I would listen to a 5-hour video of just explaining the... I would if I could! 100%! Like, if people want me to make a video about me explaining the executions, I will. Legitimately.
Just don't be one of those here's why blank sucks and... Or, like, blank sucks and here's why, and it's like 3 hours long. No.
I want to make that for April Fools. I want to make that for April Fools, like, here's why blankety blank sucks, and it's literally just silence. And at the very end, at the last second mark, it's my opinion, fuck off. Thoughts on Tengen? I love Tengen.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty cool.
Dude, it's funny, when Tengen was around, we're just kind of like, oh, it's a weird old guy. The minute Tengen came out swinging as Sasakure, Brian was like, oh. Oh, that's a thing. And then the big fight between him and Kyosuke, Brian's just kind of like, okay, that's fucking baller. It's great. Oh my god. It's fucking wonderful. Well, let's see. Could you explain your thoughts on Nagito? Okay. Here's why, in my opinion, Nagito doesn't deserve the praise he gets. Remember when I mentioned the whole, like, oh, my mom beat me and my dad left my mom? Full story, bro. You still killed 50 people. Doesn't matter what kind of trauma you have. Doesn't matter what kind of instabilities you have. If you're an asshole, you're an asshole. Period. Your disabilities aside, your trauma aside, your background story aside, you're still an asshole. So, in my opinion, his actions to justify going for hope do not align with actually doing good. So, in his words, he wants everyone to be a stepping stone for hope. Despair will always be a stepping stone for hope. Blah, 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 blah. So, what does he do? He fuels despair by, let's see, putting a bomb in the gym, trading, like, with his luck, laxatives for powering elixirs and all that shit, having a gun on hand to almost shoot Junko and Ashima, and then
letting Monica live.
And then, in DR2, when he's supposed to have retracted all the way back to his previous mentality before he turned into the Remnant of Despair, he, one, got Teru killed, because he's like, I'm gonna start killing people, and then Teru got killed because Nagito wanted to kill people, and then Nagito became a threat to everyone in the society and the community.
Not to mention wasting fucking time in a trial.
Like, every single time a trial happened, he would waste fucking time, and then it's just kind of like, the minute he finds out that Hinata is a reserve corps student, turns into the biggest shithead ever. There's everyone, like, seriously, who defends that? It's just like, it's literally Nagito looking down his nose at a reserve student, when Nagito himself recognizes that he has mental disabilities, and that he is already a step behind everyone else.
I'm gonna say it. Nagito is the Evan Hansen of anime games.
Literally, thank you! Nagito is the Evan Hansen of anime. Why? Because it doesn't fucking matter if he has mental instability. It doesn't matter if he justifies trying to do the betterment for hope. He is still an asshole! He is still a bitch who tried to kill people! He is still an asshole that starts up a lot of shit for no reason! It's literally, cool story, bro. You got people killed. Who cares? No amount of instability can justify that shit. Zero! Fucking zero! Ugh. It's like, oh my god. That is why I will fight Jay. I get why Jay likes Nagito, because Nagito admittedly is a manipulator. Nagito is smart enough to be a manipulator, and he recognizes this. No person who is an actual villain recognizes that they can manipulate and be a force to be reckoned with, unlike Nagito. Nagito is fully aware how much of an antagonist he is. He is 100% aware. That's why I can respect Jay liking him, because Jay admittedly likes Nagito as a manipulator, which is fair. But I will fucking fight if anyone tries to argue with me that Nagito Kamaida needs to be protected. If Nagito Kamaida needs to be treated like a precious cinnamon roll. Because honestly, he's not. He needs to be slapped across the face multiple times.
No, you know what it is? People, like, see him as a cinnamon roll, but they're letting that blind love for him not make them not realize that that cinnamon roll's been out of the container for weeks.
It's just kind of like, and I 100% understand if you like him because of his villainousness. If you like him because he's an interesting character, if you like him because he's complex, cool. That's awesome. That's great that you like complex characters. If you fucking defend him, that's where you're wrong. That's where I will fucking fight you.
Basically, I think what it boils down to is just at least have a good reason to like him, not just, you know, I love him because he's cinnamon baby ooh woo. You know,
Yeah.
Give a good reason. Don't just blindly, you know, have loyalty for someone that's clearly a bad person.
Yeah. Thoughts on Nico? I don't know. I don't know who that is.
I don't know who that is.
I shrug. Let's see. This is an MKU question. Oh my goodness, this is an MKU question. What would happen if you were paid $1 million to like Nagito? Make it 3 million. 3 million, and I will defend some of his actions only on the basis of the fact that I had to move the story forward. Here's the thing. Nagito is smart enough to be a manipulator. He is smart enough, even in the anime, you recognize that he's like, we shouldn't do this. This is a trap. He's smart. He's understandable. So there, I will defend him on those cases. On those cases where he tried to defend the 77th class, where he tried to defend Chiaki, where he tried to stop Junko, I will defend him till the day fucking goes dark. But I will not defend his actions that led to tragedy. I will not defend his actions that led to Teru's death. I will not defend his actions that wasted our time in trials. I will not defend him for threatening the lives of the 77th again in the Neo Future program and killing Chiaki. I will not defend him there. There you go. Who is top waifu husbando?
No, it clearly says wifu.
Wifu? I don't know who a wifu is, but I can say waifu. My favorite waifu husband. But I will say husbando is Gundam Tanaka. Gundam Tanaka, man, for real. I still would kill and love if Chris, the voice actor for Gundam, said, yes, I am indeed the best boy. I want that clip so bad. But yeah, so it's just kind of like, shrug.
But yeah, no, it's like with Nagito, I'm 100% convinced the only people that do still say that he's a sinner and wrong that can do no wrong, most likely just do it as ironically. I do not know a single person that adores him that much and thinks he's a sinner and wrong unironically.
Fair enough. Which first trial victim, Blackened, is the best? I think it was Teru.
Yeah.
Because, here's the thing, Sayaka and Leon were only eliminated from the game because the creators hated them so much based off of their design. They're just like, no, we had to kill them first thing. They're fucking done. But Teru and Nagito, for me, it showed Teru like wanting to be a good person. He really truly wanted to be a good person.
Yeah.
At the same time,
He just got the wrong person at the time.
yeah, so he got, so it was kind of like, fuck. So it was just like, eh. Did you see the final scene with the Funimation error? No, I did not.
What error?
I did not see the Funimation error.
Yeah, you're gonna have to explain that one because...
Hey, we watched it on Funimation and we got all the way through.
Yeah.
So, thank you, MKU, for the $3. Here, does $3 count? I'm not defending Nagito. He makes a web series rather than develop a game. Well, again, I don't know. So just like shrug. I just make games and play video games and all that stuff. How close are you to start playing V3? We are ready to start whenever. It's just a matter of when Brian's ready. Because it is a whole new ball game. It is literally, he doesn't have to carry a lot of the weight of the Hope arc going into V3. It's just a matter of when he's ready to start. Because I will probably be playing for him. He will make all the choices, and other stuff he'll make the decisions.
Well, yeah, because now, especially the MP for 3 is going to be a girl, right?
Yep.
Yes, you're mostly going to be doing the beating.
Yeah, so it's going to be that. So yeah. Again, no spoilers on V3. We're going to eventually talk about when we're going to start it, and we'll have an announcement when we do start V3. Is that they basically slipped up a Kyoko blooper. I did not see that.
Yeah, I don't think we heard.
We didn't hear a blooper, so yeah, I didn't get. I don't get this either. Pretty sure I died. Responsive. Thank you. I'll be right. No, we didn't get the error. We did not get the error there.
I think they might have replaced that at that point.
Yeah, they replaced it at that point. What are your thoughts on Ibuki? I like Ibuki. I'm not saying she's a favorite character. I like her though.
She's alright.
Brian just doesn't like her music.
Well, again, like the 2 times that we've seen her play, the music and everyone's screaming in pain, does it really make her the ultimate musician? It's literally the fucking, this claim has been disputed.
This claim has been disputed. But yeah, again, no spoilers. No spoilers about V3. We'll get to that soon. And we'll see some brand new characters, including my waifu. Yeah. Does the 3 million have to be all at once if we start a coin jar for it? Reposting. No, it has to be all at once. I'm not playing that. I'm not playing that game for Nagano. What's your favorite ship consisting of only dead characters? On a technical stance. Technical stance. Technicalities!
I'm not into necrophilia. Next question.
Oh my god, Ibuki's just so fucking stupid. Okay. I get why people hate that trial. People hate that trial with Ibuki and Saionji and Mikan. They fucking hate it that way. Because there are different ways they could have done.
It's gone from my mind. I don't remember.
Basically, Mikan, because she remembered her despair.
Yeah, that I remember.
Yeah, hung Ibuki. But Saionji walked in.
Yeah,
and so Mikan killed Saionji. Yeah. So it's just like there's a blooper after Makoto shakes Nagato's hands. Like, why is his hand so sticky? No, all the bloopers are gone. It was great. I don't know anything about Danganronpa V3, so I might try to watch you play the live game. That would be great if you could. It's an interesting story. I've played it. I love it. I love V3. But it is long and it's a lot to chew on. But it does have my favorite gameplay mechanic in it, which is debate scrum, and I love it. Here, for those of you who don't know what debate scrum is, like, I need to enlighten you just on how fucking awesome the music is for debate scrum. Yeah. Alright, no. Just take a listen. This is literally, like, the debate scrum music slaps hard and it's great. And when you see the animation that goes along with it, it's just like, yes, let's go!
Also, just saying, like, this is the reason why people should give Masafumi Takada's music like a listen, because not only has he worked on the Danganronpa series, he's also worked on at least No More Heroes 1 and fucking Killer 7. His music is fucking fantastic.
It's like, and here's the thing, the problem with this song is that you're bopping to it so much you're not even paying attention to the debate that's happening that you have to play. I'm like, fuck! I want to jam to this music, god damn it! It's like, oh, god fucking damn it. I hate that. Yeah, V3 definitely had, like, top tier music. But yeah.
Now I'm kind of curious to see what he has for Danganronpa 3.
That's me with boss music in a nutshell. Yeah, this is fucking great. I'm bopping to this music. Hold on, I'll kick your ass later. Oh my goodness. And I apologize that this is gonna be a short stream. simply because it's mainly just a lot of talking about Danganronpa, the series, before we step into V3. Because after this stream, it's going to be a combination of finishing up daily life for Danganronpa 1 and 2, and also starting V3. Yeah, V3 is starting after this stream. We just have to schedule it out. My assumption is that we're starting on Fridays. I would like to start it on Fridays.
Okay.
Yeah, so...
V3?
Yeah, for V3. So that way, Tuesdays could be for daily life.
Fair.
Yeah. So, if I can play my cards right, either this Friday or next Friday, we'll play Danganronpa V3. We'll start V3.
We'll most likely start it on Friday because I don't think we have any.
Yeah, I don't think we have anything planned on Friday. So we're still gonna talk about it. I still have things on the table. Like, eventually, I do also want to start Bug Snacks, but that might be a Sunday thing, where I start Bug Snacks on Sunday. But regardless of that. So, V3 is gonna be fun. Of course, we're always gonna start early. We're changing the Friday schedule. Instead of at 6, we're gonna start at 4.
Yeah, especially now since apparently V3 is an even longer game than both 1 and 2.
Yes. Like, V3 is long. Like, you need to bring snacks, you need to bring dinner and drinks, and, like, you need to bring, like, a portable potty. It's like, you need to drink all of that stuff, because it's going to be so... So, yeah, it's one of those things. Fuyuhiko is my personal favorite character. Thoughts on... I love Fuyuhiko. I love Fuyuhiko. He's such a little asshole, and I love to just bonk him on the head and be like, you're so cute.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, I honestly thought he was, well, yeah, at first I thought he was a complete dickhead, and then it wasn't until, Pekko died, it's like, oh, fuck, I gotta change.
Right? It's just, oh, I love Baby Gangster. What do you think about Logic Dive? I hate Logic Dive.
It does take a little too long.
But I hate fucking, what is it? Hangman's Gambit more. Hangman's Gambit fucking sucks.
The 1 and 2 is worse than it wasn't.
So long, like 6 hours? No, long like almost 100. We're looking... Danganronpa itself is crazy, stupid long.
I looked up the games on how long to beat. For the first game, only 24 hours. Second game, 33. And again, this is just the main story. It ain't even like going for completion stuff. For 3, 39 hours.
Yeah, so 39... Yeah, we're looking at 40 hours for V3. And that's main story.
Yep.
So yeah. The new Hangman's Gambit is full on I hate Hangman's Gambit. Improved Hangman's Gambit. Improved suck my ass! That's how I feel about that.
Don't tell me it's back in V3, is it?
I don't remember, to be very honest. I don't remember all of the mechanics. All I remember is Scrub Debate, because that's my favorite mechanic. Do you agree that gameplay mechanics in Goodbye Despair for the trials in Goodbye Despair is trials for... Okay. Panic time action was okay.
That was pretty good.
Logic Drive, shrug.
Could have been a little faster.
Argument. The argument battles were fun.
That was a good element.
I love the argument battles. Hangman's Gambit could suck my left nut. Specifically, my left nut. But Michaela, you don't have nuts. It's figurative. They can never kiss it. They can never suck it. What? Brian's holding on. Oh dear. Oh, for fuck's sake. Oh, for God's sake.
Yeah, Michaela has nuts. They're right here.
You got out the fucking Planters tin of peanuts that we have. Oh my god. Let's see. What could suck the right? Nagito. What are your guys' reaction to the waterfall scene? Brian went, do we really need to see that? Do we really need to see that?
Especially when I'm pretty sure he's underage in that scene anyway.
Like, why do we need to see that? Like, why? So convenient that an oasis is right next to the crash. It's like, really? Do we need to see this? Do you plan on following the fan games? There's one fan game that I'm gonna pay attention to. And it's a really fun fan project. I don't know if they're gonna make a game out of it or not. It would be really cool if they did. But there's one that I'm insanely interested in that's just to watch. Obviously they need voice actors to be like, hey, Michaela, if you need Monokuma, hello, I'm right here. But otherwise, Is it Shattered Hope? It's the one that.
Because I know there was that one execution you absolutely adore.
Yeah, the freaking oh my god.
What were the names again? Miguel and what?
Yeah, it was Miguel's execution. Basically it was Ole. It was the execution of what the is it Matador? Yeah, the Matador's execution. Look it up on YouTube. I can't remember the title of it, but it's Ole fan execution. Absolutely phenomenal. Took my breath away. Yeah, Danganronpa 4K. Thank you. It's Danganronpa 4K. It took my breath away. It was just like, wow, this is absolutely Danganronpa inspired. Obviously other fan games are obviously Danganronpa inspired, but like, I looked at that and I'm like, this could be a Danganronpa game on its own. What are you doing? What are you doing? Okay. Brian, what would be your ultimate talent?
You know what? Fuck Ibuki. I'll actually be the ultimate musician. The
There
one that
you-
actually does specialize in every single instrument. I can make music that doesn't make people scream in pain.
Oh, fair enough. So Brian will be ultimate musician that actually makes people love music, not hate their lives. I really want to know your thoughts on Kokichi. Nope. No thoughts on Kokichi. No thoughts on Kokichi. By the way, it's time for Monaco with Eater! You fuckheads really think asking questions is gonna matter? All of you have different opinions! Why the fuck would you have an opinion from this piece of shit? And her boyfriend, ugh! He's always interrupting me and annoying the fuck out of me!
Hey, you're the one that fucking interrupted our podcast and annoying me.
Hey! I'm the star here. People come for me,
No,
goddammit.
you're not.
Yeah, I am. Raise your hand and press F in the chat if you came for me, Monokuma!
Why do you do this?
Because I can. See? What I tell ya?
Well, because they listen to anything you say, the fucking panderers.
They're not pandering, they know who their master is. They know who their headmaster is. That's right, you all fucking know.
I know there's some people that are putting G's.
Well, fuck them. Oh, my goodness. Monokuma. Jeeper, go away. Oh my god. Ah. My god. That's funny. Oh my goodness. So, holy shit, we've been going for 2 hours talking about Danganronpa. Alright, here's the biggest question. Are you excited for V3?
I can't answer that because again, I don't know what to expect.
Okay. But are you prepared to go into V3?
I literally know nothing about it. No.
In terms of, well,
Again, it's a new story according to you.
yes.
I know nothing about it, so again, I don't know.
Okay. V3 is gonna be a hell of a ride. And I will say this, for those of you who have played V3, please be respectful and know that not everyone here has played V3. Just
Like me.
Be respectful about it.
Don't fucking spoil it.
Yeah, don't spoil it. But those of you who have not experienced V3, please know that I will do my best to give you guys the best experience for V3. It's very easy to get spoiled on V3, unfortunately, because it's been out for so long. But I truly hope you'll enjoy V3 when we get to it. I will say, if your favorite character is not someone we appreciate, or if Brian doesn't like your favorite character, or if he likes a character you fucking hate,
Just
please-
remember, I don't hold back.
and remember, each of us have our own opinions. So know that when you come to these streams, my mods and I will do our best to make sure that it is a non-spoilery experience for you, as it will be a non-spoilery experience for Brian. So it's like, yeah, if you spoil it, I hope you burn your garlic bread, right?
No. If you spoil it, I hope you put on wet socks.
Ooh, wet socks. Ugh. But with that, I think we're going to start wrapping up the stream. Simply because today is meaning to be short. I have a lot of things I gotta do. I want to try to relax today. And I might put this up on YouTube. So yeah, this whole thing is probably gonna go up on YouTube. That'll be fun. But yeah, know that we'll probably start V3. Nice rebuttal is great. We'll probably start V3 on Friday. We'll start V3 on Friday at 4 p.m. Central Time. If not this Friday, then next Friday. And remember, tomorrow Brian is going back to streaming Travis Strikes Back.
Again.
More of that. Again.
No, Travis Strikes.
Travis Strikes Again. That's Travis Strikes Back. Travis Strikes Again. He'll be doing more of that. So please subscribe to Brian. Please follow Brian. If you're new here, please consider it. Exclamation mark Brian. Otherwise, Friday is either going to be Danganronpa V3 or something else. We'll figure that out based on how our schedules go. And then Sunday, I'm going to try Bug Snacks. I'm going to try Bug Snacks with you guys. Yeah, if you don't know what Bug Snacks is, be prepared for a little bit of a weird experience. But yeah. So, thanks everyone for coming. Have wonderful sweet dreams. And we'll see you all next time. Love you all.